Breakfast just got better because today I'm going to show you how to make the tastiest breakfast quesadillas. Hi, I'm Carrie with eatingonadime.com, and I'm on a mission to help families eat well on a budget, and this recipe does just that, guys. We're going to show you how to make a tasty breakfast quesadilla, and it's so easy to make. Now, before we get started, I want you to drop in the comments below, have you made breakfast quesadillas before? It's a quesadilla, but it's for breakfast, and it is delicious. Also, you can find today's full recipe as well as links to all the tools that I'm using today in the description below as well. And before we get started, I want you to like and subscribe. I don't want you to miss any more of our family-friendly recipes. Before we head to the stovetop, let's talk about today's recipe. We're doing a basic bacon, egg, and cheese. So bacon, egg, and cheese breakfast quesadillas, delicious. It's a great starter. Make it just as is the recipe, but I wanted to let you know that while we are using bacon today, you can substitute it with anything that you'd like. You could do turkey bacon, you could do ground sausage. The options are unlimited. I love to make breakfast quesadillas when I have leftovers. Like if we're making like eggs and sausage and bacon and I have leftover eggs and bacon, it's a great time to throw it all together in a delicious quesadilla. Now stay tuned to the end of the video after we're done, because I'm going to give you tips and tricks on how you can make this even faster, which makes it perfect for a busy weekday morning. First, we're going to start with a large skillet. I'm using my non-stick one, and I have it linked as well as some that are similar. Then we're going to turn this up to medium-high heat, and I'm going to add 4 slices of bacon. I'm using just regular bacon today, and you're going to need 1 slice per quesadilla. So that just kind of gives you an idea if you want to make, more than 4. But today we're making 4. I'm going to let this cook until it starts to get crispy, and then we're going to flip it. All we're doing is cooking the bacon until it is nice and crispy, or at least to the crispiness that you would like. While the bacon's cooking back there, we're going to go ahead and get our eggs ready. You need 6 large eggs. Remember, this is for 4 quesadillas, so you need about 1.5 eggs per quesadilla. So that's just trying to help you out if you need, like if you're making a whole bunch. And we'll talk about that at the end of the video on why you should make a whole bunch. Okay, almost done. Anybody else seeing why they crack eggs? And over here is my sink, in case you're wondering why I'm throwing shells over there. Then we're going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And give it a good whisk. You can add a splash of milk if you would like to. Don't have to, but I kind of like to. So I think they make them taste fluffier. Okay. Then we're going to get this whisked together. And then I'm just going to save this until after that bacon is cooked, because we're going to actually scramble these eggs in the skillet with that bacon grease. Oh, it's going to be good. The bacon's getting nice and brown, so we're going to go ahead and flip them. That just took a few minutes. The second side will go a lot faster because our pan is already nice and hot. The bacon is nice and crispy now, so we're just going to put it on a plate lined with paper towel, just so it'll soak up some of that grease. Now, before we go ahead and scramble the eggs in this, I want to remove some of the grease because it's a little too much grease. We just need enough to scramble the eggs. Since it's not a ton, I'm not going to just like pour it out, even though you could. I'm just going to use paper towels and kind of sop up some of that grease just to leave the remaining grease that I want for scrambling the eggs. Then we're going to add our eggs and scramble them up in that bacon grease. I'm currently obsessed with this spoon. It's so great, and it's perfect for scrambling eggs. If you're not an egg scrambler, just a few tips is you always want to keep it moving, scraping the bottoms off. And I like to cook it on like a medium to a medium-low heat, so that way you don't get those like harder kind of burnt pieces. And that way, that's how you get those nice and fluffy eggs, is by cooking it on a little bit lower, like heat setting. Eggs are nice and scrambled. Just cook them until your preferred doneness. Sorry, I can't talk today. And then you're just going to remove from the heat and let it sit. Just going to put these scrambled eggs here. Now we're just going to chop up that crispy bacon that we already cooked. So I'm just going to roughly chop it up with my knife. Letting it cool is the way to go first. You might ask, why didn't you chop up the bacon before? You could chop up the bacon before, but cooked bacon is so much easier to chop up than raw bacon. So it's just a lot faster, and it's easier to cook when they're in the strips because they're easier. It's just like one flip and then it's done. Versus if you have pieces, you got to keep moving them around. So in my opinion, it's just easier to cook them first and then chop them up. But letting them cool is the trick, because if you think your bacon isn't crispy, let it cool for a little bit because it crisps up as it sits. We're going to add the bacon right in with the eggs and give it a good stir to combine all of that together. Just give it a good stir so you can combine all of that together, so every bite will have a little bit of eggs and a little bit of bacon. Now we're just going to shred some cheese. You need about 8 ounces of cheese shredded. We're using a sharp cheddar cheese, but any kind of cheese will work, whatever you got, whatever you're craving. I do like to hand shred it. You can do this ahead of time, but the pre-shredded cheese just doesn't melt as good. So you actually save money by buying it in the block and hand shredding it yourself. So a little money saving tip there. And like when you go to the store and you buy the cheese, you can actually shred it all at once and then just store it in containers in your fridge, and boom, you have pre-shredded cheese. But it's shredded cheese that melts so yummy gooiness in your quesadilla. Okay, now that cheese is shredded, all we got to do is assemble. Okay, now we're going to assemble. We need a burrito-size tortilla. Then we're going to put a little bit of cheese on 1/2. After you put a little bit of cheese on, you're going to add 1/4 of this egg and bacon mixture. Then you're going to put a little bit of cheese right on top again. The trick to gooey, cheesy deliciousness is having cheese under and on top of your egg and bacon. That way the tortillas stick. If you just do the bottom, the top doesn't stick. We're going to fold it over. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do all 4 of these, and then we're going to head to the griddle so we can cook them all at once. I just want to show you up close, big, large burrito size tortilla. That's really important. Don't get the smaller taco sizes. A little bit of cheese. I'm going to scoop up some eggs and bacon. Whoop. And then a little bit more cheese. This is the glue. Doesn't take a lot. And then you just fold it in half. And I like to press it down just to kind of smooth it all out if you didn't get enough on the sides. I love this thing. I've got it linked for you. It is a griddle nonstick that has no like PFAs or whatever, the stuff that's bad for you, basically. I'm just going to plug this in and heat this up. Now you can cook these in a skillet, but I have a large family, and so I'm always using a griddle. In fact, if we're really talking about it, I could have made the eggs and the bacon on this griddle as well, and then just given it a quick wipe down to do this. So we're going to heat this up on a medium-high heat. I'm going to let this heat up for just a few minutes before we start griddling, but you can do this in the skillet. But I love my griddle, especially when you have a large family to feed, or because right now I'll be able to cook all 4 of these all at once, versus a skillet, I might only be able to cook 1 at a time. Okay, it's nice and hot. And now we're going to add, I thought I could do all 3, but I want to get them nice and brown. So I'm just going to do 2 at a time, making sure these get nice and brown and beautiful. Now remember, everything's cooked inside. So all you're doing is melting the cheese and crisping up the tortillas. So this is just going to take about 2 to 3 minutes on the first side, and probably only 1 to 2 minutes on the second side. Okay, they're beautiful and brown. So we're just gonna give them a quick flip, and we just need 1 to 2 minutes. Usually the second half doesn't take as long because your griddle is already hot. So just kind of watch it. It might take a little bit longer, and you just cook them until the desired crispiness. I personally like mine a little bit crispier. Not everybody does. These are beautifully browned on both sides. I'm going to lay them over here. We're going to let them cool for just a few minutes before we cut them, and they're ready to eat. I'm going to go ahead and get the next 2 started. And breakfast is about to be served. My last set is nice and crispy. Woo! I'm just going to move this out of the way. We're going to get this all cut up and ready to eat. Got my cutting board and my favorite knife. And then we're going to chop these up. Now, you can do these any way you like. I like to do them in thirds just because, I don't know, I feel like that's how it always is in a Mexican restaurant and stuff. But you do you. So just into thirds like that. And then I pile them up and they're ready to devour. Okay, I want to show you up close. We're just cutting it into thirds. Just like that. I'm just piling these up on a plate. And we're going to eat. I mean, beautiful, cheesy goodness right on the inside. Woo, I'm so excited to try it. Now it's time for my favorite part, trying it. Guys, I'm so excited. I've got a teenager who is waiting for a bite of these off camera. I tried to get him on camera, but he wouldn't do it. So good. Yes, I'm going to be enjoying this. Now, remember, you can serve it with salsa, anything that you would like. Dip it right on in and it'll be delicious. Remember, now I told you I would talk about different ways that you can make this your own and make it even faster. So you can actually make these ahead of time and just like they are now, and then put them in the fridge. And then all you have to do is heat them up in a skillet, just like this in your triangles, and breakfast is ready to serve. It's a great way for you to spend a little bit of time on a Sunday, and then now you can have breakfast, or even the kids can do it and enjoy them in minutes instead of taking 30 minutes. So it's great. Like even kids can microwave them. I've even seen where some people put them in like an air fryer just to crisp them up and reheat them since you already made them. Okay, friends, I'm out of here. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope I've inspired you to make delicious and tasty breakfast quesadillas at home. Guys, thanks so much. Don't forget to leave a review on our recipe after you make it. That's the #1 way that we can hear from you. And you can find the full recipe linked in the description below. Don't forget, like and subscribe. I hope you loved hanging out with me today in my kitchen. And I will see you next time. Friends, don't forget to eat at home by eating on a dime.